It is a great honor and privilege to speak on behalf of Celinda Lake's induction into the Hall of Fame of the American Association of Political Consultants.
Celinda Lake, let's get the obvious out of the way. Brilliant, incredible strategist, insightful, always full of great ideas.
You know, Celinda has done so much good for so many groups and individuals across our great nation, making sure that Montanans and Democrats have the right message when it comes to getting elected and getting good policies through.
There was times over the last 40 years that I've known you, there are numbers that you've given me that I didn't really want to hear, but you've always been right and always been there for me.
Our collaboration has been priceless. It's been a privilege night after night to see her light strangers up with her irresistible curiosity and genuine respect.
Celinda Lake is a pioneer in the world of democratic political consulting, and she has been a hero of mine and a mentor to many hundreds of people over the last 4 decades.
Celinda, you are a brilliant pollster. Your work with me on electing women candidates across the country for more than a quarter of a century has helped hundreds of women succeed in politics.
I am so grateful that we got to work together at the Women's Campaign Fund in the mid-1980s. Those were really exciting times for women in politics. Your trailblazing work at the Women's Campaign Fund truly helped to elect more pro-choice women to Congress. You gave women candidates the confidence and the skills that they needed to run viable and winning campaigns.
The thing that is so great about Celinda that I have appreciated in every circumstance is that she cares deeply about issues of racial justice, of women of color. She goes out of her way to support women of color as candidates, but also as leaders in general. She is a fantastic political consultant because she is both strategic and she leads with her heart.
What people probably don't know about Celinda is that she loves being on a river. And it doesn't matter if it's the whitewater of the Grand Canyon or the meandering water of the Yellowstone with her fellow feminoids.
Quick story, I'm in the office, Greenbrook Lake, the analysis group. Celinda's on the second floor, 11:15 p.m. All of a sudden I hear, and the sad thing was that was not the beat to the music, but that was Celinda dancing, and that she did that all the time.
Celinda Lake has changed so many lives and the direction of the country. She is a strategist for campaigns, a mentor to anyone who is smart enough to ask, and a loyal friend. She has changed this country for the better, and she has changed too many lives to count, including mine.
She has never lost that moral compass through the years, nor has she let her heart be hardened by what is often the ugliness of today's political environment.
Thank you for being a strong voice for women in politics and in your field of public opinion research. Your Montana trailblazing spirit would make Jeanette Rankin proud. Thank you for being a friend and mentor and political godmother to so many. And thank you for being a wonderful godmother to my daughters.
She is a treasure of the progressive movement and of the movement for democracy, justice, freedom, and fairness in this society and this world.
I am forever grateful to call you my friend and colleague. Congratulations, Celinda. You are my shero.
Congratulations, Celinda.
Congratulations, Celinda. We are also very proud of you.
Congratulations to Celinda Lake, one of the true political geniuses from Montana.
Welcome to the AAPC Hall of Fame, my friend.
Thank you, Celinda, and congratulations.
I'm so proud of you. Big hugs.
Congratulations. I wish you the best. Have a great luncheon, and you deserve this great award.
Thank you, Celinda. You've been a great friend, a great consultant, and a great strategist.
We're very proud of Celinda. From a Montana's perspective and from a national perspective, she's simply the best.
Good afternoon. It's both an honor and a privilege to introduce the latest inductee into the AAPC Hall of Fame, Celinda Lake. An award that in the last 33 years has only recognized 43 of our colleagues. 43. There is so much I can say about Celinda. I met Celinda first in 1990 when we were both sent to Hungary to oversee the first democratic elections in Hungary, a trip where we first developed the idea of doing the battleground poll, which we have done now for over 30 years. Through those years, I've always found her to be an intense and tenacious competitor, but always doing so with grace and respect, so seldom seen in today's political arena. Most of all, I've never seen her lose her moral compass that drew her into politics in the first place, concerned for giving a voice to women, minorities, the gay community, low-income Americans, and the youth of our nation. I watched her build one of the strongest and most successful Democratic polling firms in the country, filling it with young and talented people and partners, doing so in a way that always kind of left me wondering, is she working for them or are they working for her? Through the years, there are so many issues that we did not see eye to eye, but always treated each other's views with respect that in a strange way always helped us understand the other side of the issue and finding common ground. A great, insightful pollster, strategist, and leader, a best-selling author, and someone I'm proud to say has become one of my best friends. Please, I humbly ask you to please welcome Celinda Lake to receive her well-deserved recognition and induction into the AAPC Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you all so much. I feel deeply honored, and honestly, I never thought this day would come, so I feel really honored, and I feel really honored to look out and see such a vibrant, diverse, energetic, bipartisan collection of people with this, giving me this great award. I feel very intimidated. I have the clicker, but I have no slides. How can a pollster present without slides? But I want to take a few minutes to just talk. I want to thank the association, and I really want to thank Ed, who could have a better introduction than that, and Frank and Annie Burns from GMMB, and Jim Margolis, who did that film that was really, I wish my parents could have seen it. And I want to thank my parents, who always opened doors for me and taught me the value of hard work and respect. I will say this, my dad was always very proud of his daughter, but he could not understand why anyone would pay good money for what she did. My mom once asked me, she was trying to help, and she once asked me, you know important people, how come you can't get a job, a really good job, like with the phone company? And I was reassured when Michael Hooley told me that his mother was asking him the same thing at the same time. My mom then decided there was no accounting for tastes, and after all, she had moved from New York City to Montana in 1947. So she decided to help me market. And her best friend called me and it kind of misunderstood what I did and said, your mom says you need work. I have a couch that needs recovering, because she thought I was a pollster, not a pollster. And then her other friend called me and said, I really want to introduce you to the political people I know. And I said, well, Mary, you're kind of conservative, but that's a very nice thought. She said, yeah, I can introduce you to the head of the John Birch Society in Montana. And I said, that's really good, but that may not be the best fit for my new business. But they always gave me support in my career and taught me about a guiding principle, which is less judgment and more curiosity. I have loved polling because it is the penultimate profession for someone who is curious. And my parents had this rule that I could ask any question I wanted as long as I listened to the answer. That was a God-given gift, a heaven-sent gift to someone who wanted to be a pollster ultimately. I want to thank my partners, and Daniel Godoff is here representing my partners. They're an amazing group of smart, talented, principled people who shared a vision of a firm built on principle that tried to live by its ideals, imperfectly, but tried. A woman-owned, progressive firm, and we always laugh in our firm that we take about 5 minutes at our retreats to discuss mission and about 2.5 hours to talk about how we can communicate better. I'm sure many of you know what that's like. I want to also say that when we started, and now it seems commonplace, but we agreed that we were only going to work for people who were pro-choice, including funding, and we were the first firm to do that. People who were pro-labor, people who were pro-equal rights. And I want to call them out. Alicia Snell, who is an incredible women's advocate, brilliant manager, builder of teams, of women in particular, and taught me a lot about juggling work and family. David Merman, a strategist who's known for civility and thoughtful analysis. Daniel Godoff here, who keeps us honest and principled and always has our backs. Josh Ulibarri, who has taught me more about winning tough races than anyone I know, and still works every day to change the face of who's elected. Bob Meadow, a brilliant strategist and someone who's taught me a lot about running a small business, and Jonathan Voss, who is an expert on narrative change, which is very important to us. I also want to acknowledge two silent partners. One of them, Renee Redwood, who is in the audience. She was the first person to run Greenberg Lake. And she told you one story about the dancing. The other story was I would offer, just as I was starting, I would offer the, discount to the left-handed liberal from Montana woman who had no chance of winning, but was just a wonderful person to work for. And Renee would follow behind and call them back and say, I know you got the discount from Celinda. Now I want to say no cash, no conversation. And kept us afloat. The other person, Robert Wesley, who started as a part-time receptionist and became the manager of our firm. I want to thank the amazing staff, and I won't be naming them all, and colleagues. It's a rich privilege to work with them, to learn from them, to make a difference with them. And some of the people in our firm have been there for decades. And I want to give a special shout out to one of them, Anderson, who many of you may have seen on an email or two, who told me a long time ago that you just focus on the day, I'll take care of the long term, and don't schedule yourself. I want to thank three great teachers and mentors of mine, Stan Greenberg, Nat Shanker-Osorio, and Mike Pothutzer, who are brilliant thinkers and huge brains. I want to thank our clients. And you saw some of them. They hired us. They stood up for change in what they believed. They didn't take their positions from polling data. Through their hard work and commitment, they made the data come true. And they proved that progressives can win in a red state, that women, people of color, LGBTQ, young, and people with disabilities can win tough races and change the face of politics. And I want you all to commit. I have a new theory. I have a new idea. Those of you who've worked with me, you probably dread that moment when it's like, Celinda's on the phone and she's got an idea. Certainly managers hate that. But I think one thing I really want to see is a woman president. As many of you know, this is a passion for me. And I've decided that what we need to do in both parties is nominate a woman. Therefore, the voters will have no choice. And we will be done with this craziness. I also want to thank my first client, Pat Williams, progressive from Montana. And when he was my very first client when I started our own business, and his manager called me and he said, Pat wants you to know that he doesn't need polling. Heard that before? The pollsters in this room. He knows what Montanans think. But if you need money, he will do a poll. I want to thank all of the issue groups that I work with. We talk a lot about candidates, but I particularly love the polling for ideas and the polling to change the foundation on which we win those campaigns. And I want to shout out and acknowledge the other women leaders who opened the doors for me, kicked open the doors for me often. I particularly was appreciative when I started of the women in labor, who often were the first political directors and the only women in the room, and they would open the door and get me a hearing. And I remember one union that will go unmentioned that I adore, that really you could tell these guys, the guys being the operative word, were really wondering, how did we get a pollsterette again? And then they said, oh, well, the political director recommended her, and, you know, we don't mess with the political director. So thank you to all of the people who opened those doors. And finally, I want to thank all of you, because this is a team sport. It's not an individual sport. We're only as good as pollsters as the media consultants, the digital consultants, the direct mail, the fundraisers, and all of the other consultants and managers in the room. And they have also, for me, been friends and family, and I think you know there could be no better family than Ed Goes, and who's been like a brother to me, and his wife, Lisa, who is in the room, who has been a wonderful supporter as well. And I want to thank Linda Duvall, the other woman pollster in the Hall of Fame, who, when I started my business, opened her books to me and said, okay, this is how much money you're going to need. This is how you need to start out. And I want to thank all of you in this room. I'm sure I've left somebody out, and I'm going to be horrified about it and remember for the rest of my life, because I still remember the word I misspelled on my first grade exam. I want to thank the new wave of consultants, particularly in this room. You are better and brighter and more innovative than my generation, as good as we were. And I look forward to continuing to work with old and young alike in this room to make this country a better place for everyone, especially those who still don't have a seat at the table. So thank you with great honor for this honor, and thank you for all that you do.